Sudan, a country that everyone is so busy associating with internal political conflicts that they miss the amazing things that it has to offer. Specifically, the archaeological sites. This is a place where you can come here and explore these ruins and feel as if you were the first one to discover it. Today, we conclude our journey by heading south from Karima on the way back to Khartoum. And we've saved the best for last as we arrive at the single most famous landmark in Sudan, the main highlight of its tourism scene. Now, here we are, December 19th, 2016, after 2.5 weeks of traveling, and on the final day of this amazing trip, I have come through the Nubian Desert and walked up these giant dunes of sand to, drumroll, the ancient city of Meroë. Like I said, the main tourist attraction in all of Sudan. And I want to point out something else. We may have to walk up a little bit here. I have this entire place myself, 100%. Even my travel companions are at the camp that's right over there. And I basically just walked back up here. So, basically what this is the royal cemetery where they buried 30 kings, 8 reigning queens, and 3 princes throughout the period that we refer to as the Meroitic period. Now, these are not so deep that I need a flashlight, but in almost every single one of these tombs, you can find ancient carvings like these. Still very much intact, not weathered away or eroded. And there's something else in one of these I want to show you as well. Yeah, basically the Meroitic period was around 600 BC to 300 AD. So unlike the Great Pyramids of Egypt, these pyramids, these pyramids actually are only about 2,500 years old, rather than 4,500 years old. Because remember, the Nubian civilization was a newer civilization than that of ancient Egypt, and the Meroitic period, or the Meroites, or the Meroite kingdom as we call it, is the youngest of them all. Now, if I can find out which pyramid it was, to that in a second. Yes, I think it's this one. Ow. So I showed you the carvings on the other one. So we have that one right there. We have that one right there. And I also want to show you these. These are kind of like on top of the rest of those. And especially this one right here. It's a little different than the rest of them. It's not like as fine as like, or as detailed as that one right there. But it looks like it's like a child with a toy and a cow. So, what that leads me to believe is that that particular carving right there was actually done by a child. Now, it could either be that or it could be, you know, vandalism. I seriously hope it's not vandalism. I'm sorry, if you're going to vandalize something, you're not going to draw a cow. But this one right here leads me to believe, I mean, because you have all this scaffolding right here, and it kind of goes down, down, down into the ground here. This one kind of leads me to believe that there may have actually been something underneath these tombs. It would make perfect sense because in ancient Egypt, that is a lot of the times the case of where they buried the pharaoh, as well as the treasure and all the mummified cats that they buried with them, except for one, because they kept getting robbed. Except for one where they actually kind of built a side path and then kind of sealed it off. So what they're doing here is they're kind of making these doors right here so that, you know, sand doesn't keep blowing in, because if you saw the landscape, you'll see that, you know, there's sand dunes that are kind of covering or engulfing this whole archaeological site, which I don't know about you, but I kind of like that. Now, you'll probably notice something else, that a lot of these pyramids are missing the tops. Well, that's mainly because back in the 1800s, some asshole from Italy came down here, I think it was in 1837, and he thought it would be a great idea to blow the tops off of all these pyramids in search of treasure. And when he didn't find treasure underneath the first pyramid, he continued to blow the tops off of them like an idiot, except after a while he actually did succeed in finding treasure. I believe it was that one right over there, he actually found a crown that was encased in jewels and gold. And of course then he had to basically get out of Dodge because he really pissed off the local villagers. Now, another thing that they've done since then, about 150 years later, back in the 1970s and the 1980s, is they've started to reconstruct a lot of these. And I'll kind of show you more of what I'm talking about here. See, pyramid number 19, reconstructed 1980s, Sudan Antiquities Service. So basically what they did was they reconstructed a lot of these to either show you what they used to look like, you know, back in the day, or kind of, you know, try to make it whole again. Now, this right here is where they do a pretty good job of letting you know what it used to look like. These are what the pyramids used to look like. Imagine these without the lines from all the bricks. Now, how they built these was actually with sand. They would make the bricks, and then they would actually make ramps out of sand for each additional layer, and then they would roll those new bricks up that sand ramp until they finally got to the top. And see, here we go. This is typical. You're going to find this in a lot of them. Is this one open? I don't think this one's open. Let me see if there's a switch in here. Ah! Crap! I'm just kidding. Sorry, I had to. No, I don't think that one is open. But, yeah, so this is what they used to look like. I'm not 100% sure if I agree with the concept of reconstructing these, because remember when I talked to you about Carthage and how, you know, the plastering, it just kind of looked tacky. Well, I mean, I would hate to see that happen here. And as much as I don't like seeing these pyramids without the tops, this is fine. I like this. Everything is kind of lost in the sands of time, and this is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You can easily spend several hours here, with that feeling like you're Dora the Explorer, just checking the whole place out and nothing roped off to you. And you could also camp here and watch the sunset over these pyramids. But this is nothing even close to the end of it. If you do come to Meroë, you have to check out Musawwarat. This is a little different. You can't really see the heads of these guys anymore, just because of how the temple has like fallen down. But you can see that these guys are like carrying, I don't know if that's supposed to be like a lamb or like something to be sacrificed, or, you know. But here's something that I haven't seen at the other temples is, so we got all these cattle right here. These look on the bottom. And then look at this. Got a lion. Elephants. You don't see elephants in Jebel Barkal or in Meroë. And of course, sometimes part of that Tomb Raider feeling is when you don't really have a knowledgeable guide, you use your own knowledge and start connecting the dots yourself to find out what exactly everything resembles. So I'm really curious to know what this mural over here is supposed to represent. This is at Musawwarat. So you got Horus right there, and then that dude, and then that dude, and then that dude, and then I'm trying to remember that one. But you can see he's handing off, it looks kind of like a torch, but it's also got the lion's head on it. And then coming on top of that, he's basically handing it to this dude right here, and you can see that queen. I think that's a woman. But on top of that, you can see that like the three little birds right over there. So, and then you got that little guy. So this is awesome. I guess I'll have to look it up when I get home. So that, my friends, is Sudan. If you can work up the courage to come here, I promise it will be a very rewarding experience. It's rich in history. The people are beyond hospitable. And yes, it's actually much safer than the media will lead you to believe. So do yourself a favor and add this to your bucket list. Your passport will thank you. And I want to thank you very much for watching, and I hope you really enjoyed it, and I hope this gives you a much bigger idea of what there is to see in Sudan.